I'm Marcus Blake with That Nerd Show, and we are speaking with the cast behind Ride. It is a great pleasure to have all three of you here. So I'm going to jump right in. Jake,
So,
this is a great labor of love for you. And how did this story come about?
I mean, honestly, this story was in my heart my whole life. I was named Jake after Kevin Costner's character in Silverado.
Okay.
My favorite movie growing up. Yeah, I mean, just the true Western.
Yeah.
So I grew up just adoring those kinds of movies. And as I got older, I obviously saw less and less of them getting made.
Right.
And I always felt my place was the modern Western.
Right.
And I don't know, I just always wanted to make a rodeo movie. I didn't think there was enough of those in the world.
Right.
And so I just started working, and 8 years later, here we are.
All right. All right. Annabeth, you've had such an interesting and iconic career. What drew you to this role?
Well, I think so many things. One, it was the script that Jake had written with Josh was a realistic, unvarnished, really multi-layered movie about just a family struggling to get through, and whether it's healthcare or addiction or just family and survival. And I love this world. And I had done some westerns earlier on, True Women, that took place in Texas. I played Euphemia, Texas, Ashby McClure. True story.
Yeah, Killing Fields.
Yeah, Texas Killing Fields. But I just always loved this world, and I had the opportunity to join, and I just said yes, visceral.
I thought it was interesting playing the sheriff, but also crossing that line a little bit. And I don't want to completely spoil the movie, but do you feel like that she is kind of a bad guy towards the end when she's about to do something she shouldn't do?
Listen, don't step in front of a mama bear trying to protect her cubs.
Yeah.
And I know that in my own innate life. I'm a mother of sons, and I will do anything for them. And I think, again, this movie does that so well with the multifaceted. We all have dark and light. We all have our brokenness and the lines that we will cross.
All right.
I remember early on, I just have to say, before we actually made the movie, someone gave me a script note that the sheriff would never do that thing you're talking about at the end of it. Sheriff would never. I said, oh really? Well, what if the sheriff was a man? And the person said, oh yeah, of course. For his family, of course he would. I said,
have you not met some?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you not met some female heroes here that? Yeah. Forrie, I have a question, and this actually is not only about this film, but Yellowstone too. I feel like they don't have to write dialogue for you; they just tell you the scene, and you just do it so naturally.
Well, thank you.
That's a beautiful compliment. It does stick to the script, and I mean that complimentary.
Yeah, thank you. That's what an actor's supposed to do, is make it look natural, and I think I pulled that off pretty good. But movies like this that are so close to my heart and my heritage, and in Yellowstone, I would dare to say that he met me while he was writing Yellowstone, and he basically wrote that after me. So, but you still have to hit your mark. You still have to react to the other dialogue, and but like I said, this movie, when I read the script, all the things that Annabeth said, the family, the dark sides of it, that's so real, and it's in my world.
Right.
This is my culture and my heritage, and I've seen these things.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but I've seen some stuff, and so I really wanted to be part of it, and then being able to step out of the hard part, hard case, excuse me, part.
Feel free. Addiction takes the center stage of this movie. I feel like I don't know much about the rodeo world, but I can imagine as that kind of an athlete and being beat up all the time and stuff that it's very, very common. Was it important to you to have the addiction in there in this film?
It was incredibly important, especially the more I learned about that world.
Yeah.
and about so many new things I had no idea about, and that I don't think America has any idea
Right.
about, made me more and more wanting to pull it, make it work into this world. And yes, it is a common thing in the rodeo world, addiction, but sadly, it's a common thing in America.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
So like,
Rodeo is an addiction itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you get addicted to it. I was, took me years, I still miss it every day. I miss rodeo.
Yeah.
And a simple reason or example is I have friends that been married and raised kids with their wives, and they rodeoed, they quit rodeoing, within a year, 2 years, they're divorced. Well, I couldn't figure it out till I quit rodeoing.
Yeah.
And then the woman that I was living with at the time, short, and get this plant out of the hall. It's, yeah, you walk right under it. It's been there for years.
Yeah.
But I was so addicted. Monday morning, I'm on the phone, entering rodeos, finding out where I'm at, calling guys, lining things up. Wednesday, back on the road again. Sunday night, maybe you get home.
Well, you take away what someone loves, I mean, their soul dies.
and that's that's a huge part, particularly C. Thomas's character.
Yeah.
He gave up rodeoing to start this family, and she feels it, you know, and the family does.
I want to talk about, there's a couple points in the movie, your character with transformation. I mean, you can say it when he reconnects with Dad after being in jail and they're, essentially committing a crime, or when he shows up at a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel like is that greatest transformation for your character?
I think it's not till the very end of the movie when he tells his story in AA.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's holding the whole time, and he finally lets it go. Yeah, definitely. He's brought to AA. He doesn't want to go there. I don't think it would have worked had Peter made the choice to go there.
Yeah.
When you're in those rooms, in those circles, something special happens. I've been there just as a writer on the outside.
Right.
And by the end, I'm crying, telling about my, very privileged problems in Hollywood.
Right.
And I think the most beautiful things about the AA groups that I've sat in, even though they've dealt with actual struggle, and I'm there going, it's taking me years to get my script named or whatever. They genuinely listen and care and are empathetic, which I think is just a beautiful thing. I like to bring people to that.
So the greatest metaphor of this movie, the secret's in the dirt. Where did that come from? I mean,
that's a line for the, yeah.
I mean, for me, I heard Jason Witten say that one time, the Cowboys.
Really?
He said the secret's in the dirt, and obviously he was talking about football and I think he was talking about rookies wanting advice.
Right.
And everybody, and I think in Hollywood, in life, no matter what you're doing, everybody wants that silver bullet. How do I get ahead? How do I get this? How do I get that? It's just like the secret's in the dirt, man. Just work hard.
It's a beautiful metaphor because if you really think about it, and the way Jake approached this movie, like anything worth its weight and real substance has all of the minerals, right, in the soil and the dirt, and whether you're an authentic cowboy or you're just, I don't know, there's just something, I like that saying.
Well, one of my staff who's watching the movie too made this comment, it's like, well, that's just like a woman's heart. I kind of looked at her and was like, wow.
Wait, a woman's heart.
Secrets in the dirt is like a woman's heart. She was comparing it to secrets. I guess that's where she was going, and I just kind of looked at her and was like, okay.
We'll have to examine that one.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, if you're just trying
Maybe she's got a few secrets.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, if you're just trying to tell me that I don't understand women, I've known that.
For me, it meant you got to do the work.
Yeah.
It's out there if you want it, but you got to do the work.
Right.
Secrets in the dirt. Get in the dirt. Get to work. Get to doing something.
So we do have one last question, but before I get to it, I want to ask each one of you how much of you personally is in each of your characters, and I want to start with Annabeth.
Well, I just remembered this morning as we were talking, but my grandfather was chief of police. So somewhere in my heritage, I have the law on
Oh,
my
really?
on my
Okay.
side, in my blood. Um, Motherhood, fiercely trying to heal wounds, familial wounds, really, both of those things really, and then following a passion to the
Right.
point where it can break you. I think those are three themes that I really respond to in the film.
All right.
I mean, obviously being the writer, I got to put in
Sure.
elements of myself early, but hopefully every ounce, whether it's playing a different character with a different name or not, it's
Right.
always going to be some part of you. Gosh, yeah, I hope a lot.
That's what I was gonna say. Annabeth put all of her in there. I brought everything I had. That's whatever I do, I bring 100%. And you could feel it from the DP and everybody was putting in 100%.
Yeah.
So when you step in front of the camera, you're supporting all them people behind the
Right.
camera. And you just give it,
Yeah. On indie movies especially, I think when the prop guy
Yeah.
is working overtime and carrying chairs and running through the rodeo to make sure we get one extra shot,
Right.
like that can be what makes these movies special, and especially for these two guys who've been so veteran, and like you said, iconic is a
Yeah.
great word for these two people, and for them to come in and challenge the material and force it to make it better, but also ask me what I think,
Right.
what can I do, and be a little nervous before a scene.
Well,
I mean, that's healthy, and it comes through.
I think it helps to have any veteran actor on set that is not a diva either. That's part of working with you to make the best out of the story.
Yeah.
No time for diva-dom.
We feel the same way as press. I've turned down some
Right.
interviews. I will not repeat who, but I'm like, yeah, I don't have time for this.
Yeah. I mean, we made this movie in 18 days, shot at live rodeos.
Really? Wow. Okay.
No time for that.
Yeah.
It's funny, I remember one moment early on before we started filming, we had a fitting wardrobe, and it wasn't right. It just wasn't, tonally it wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it did not fit.
Yeah.
Literally wasn't right.
Literally wasn't right. And to know, it just wasn't a match, whether it's,
Sure.
dating or whatever. And we worked through that pretty quickly, and then someone stepped in and she just fought and did it, and literally in the dirt. Shannon was in the dirt, and I think it's a metaphor, because everybody, you pivot, you move, you go, you're collaborators, it's like guerrilla filmmaking, your soul's in it.
Cool.
And you band together, and movies start to become thematic of the script usually, and that was a huge part where you get kicked down. How are we going to stand back up?
Right.
I was shopping on Broadway at the Boot Barn on Broadway the night before we started filming.
Yeah.
So
just laughing.
Yeah.
At that point, you can only laugh.
Yeah.
It's where we're at.
So I got.
So I'm the real deal. I know a real buckle. Right? Yeah. So I tell Jake, hey, I don't have any bow riding buckles in that era and stuff. So he sends me these pictures of these buckles. So I pick one out. Well, he sends, this is the one you're going to wear. It's a tinny. They got a longhorn on it. They sell them at Walmart. No, I'm not wearing that buckle.
That's like.
And he texts me back, ha ha ha.
I was about to say that's like the equivalent of getting a little kid's sheriff star to play sheriff in a movie.
Yeah.
We're not actually going to do that.
Right. It's a great joke, though.
We had the good buckle.
All right. Well, I got time for one last question. It's our famous nerdy question we ask all of our filmmakers. It's the one you're not prepared for.
Oh no.
So here you go. If you could have a superpower to fight the forces of evil, what would you choose? I know you.
I suck at these questions. I'm never I want them all or none of them. I don't know.
Well, if you want all of
Fight
them.
the forces of evil.
Yeah.
That's an interesting part of the question, as opposed to just what would your superpower be?
I do it that way just to see, well, I kind of like being evil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I be
uh-huh.
evil and have and you can, but. And by the way, what you're describing is Dr. Jean Grey and the X-Men. You just have everything.
Yes,
Oh,
I'll
nice.
take it. But I think because I live in LA, the one superpower I wish I had was like flight. So I didn't have to
Fly over the traffic.
because it is a force. I become a force of evil when I'm stuck in traffic.
Great answer.
Flying was the first thing that jumped into my mind, but I would like time travel.
That's a good
I would
one.
say time travel.
All right.
Go back and win the lottery.
Lone Ranger.
No, okay.
Not superpower. I don't watch them kind of movies, never read those kind of comic books.
But I do like the Lone Ranger comment. We don't.
But I'd have to go with Superman, I guess.
That's a good one too.
Yep.
Classic. All right.
All American.
I do love the line in the Last Man of Steel movie when they're questioning about, whether he's a threat. It's like, look, I'm from Kansas. That's about as American as you can get.
Right.
And I lived in Kansas for a year, and that is a very true statement.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
well, thank you very much for interviewing with us. It was such a great movie,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to see what happens with it.